What's up, everybody? It is my first reading video of the new year, but inconveniently, I'm going to be going over what I read in December. I actually have 4 reading videos that I want to film this week and get out as soon as possible, but I feel like I need to wrap up what I read last month so that if any of those books come up in another video, you have a more in-depth opinion of what I thought of them. So if you don't remember from my November video, I said that I was going to be in Thailand for most of December. I was gone from the 4th until the 20th. And then obviously when we got home, it was like prepare for Christmas, rapid fire, and then I went back to work. So I would have been happy if I read 5 books. That was kind of my goal, especially since I had a 25-hour plane ride both ways. I managed to read 6 books. So this is going to be a much shorter video than other months because 6 is a little less than I've been reading other months, but still I'm proud of how much I was able to read considering I was on vacation, and it wasn't like a chill, relax on the beach vacation. It was like a run after my 2-year-old vacation. The first book that I read on the airplane on the way to Thailand was Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. So this book is about Kenna. She gets out of prison after 5 years and she is determined to reunite with her daughter. Her daughter was born when she was in prison and they were separated immediately, and she wants to be part of her daughter's life. I don't think this is a spoiler. I'm really sorry if it is. I don't think it is. Basically, she was in prison for her involvement in the death of her daughter's father. So it's kind of complicated because his parents obviously would be upset at her for being involved in their child's death. So you have that dilemma going on, but it's also kind of a romance, a very sad one. She ends up meeting this guy, Ledger, and they hit it off, and it's all, steamy and whatnot, but she quickly realizes that Ledger was her now deceased boyfriend's best friend. They didn't know each other when her boyfriend was still alive. So it's complicated, it's messy, it's emotional. It was a really good book. I gave it 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't find any flaws with it, but it didn't really stick with me like after that plane ride. So in terms of Colleen, I would say definitely it's up there with the other ones I've read by her, but it wasn't like cannot miss this book or else. And the next book I read was Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. And for some reason, I've had this one on my list for so long, but I didn't realize it was a Colleen Hoover book. Nope, it's not. That's why I didn't realize it. It's a Christina Lauren book. And I think had I known that, had I written Christina Lauren on my TBR list, usually I just write the book title, I think I would have read it a lot sooner because Christina Lauren is a goodie. So it's basically about Josh and Hazel, and it almost gets cringy with how quirky they try to make Hazel. I mean, that is her entire character. She is quirky, she is weird, she dresses funny, she says outrageous things, she makes people uncomfortable to the point where accepts that this is the reason that she will never be in love or have a serious boyfriend. People don't take her seriously. They think she's fun, they think she's a good time, they think she's cute, but she's not girlfriend potential. She ends up running into this guy that she liked back when she was in college. She basically is like, we're gonna be besties, let's hang out. And she is very verbal about the fact that he would never date her, and that's why their friendship works. And she's like, but I'm gonna make you love me as your best friend. So they decide to be each other's wing people. They go on double dates, and it's just like, I mean, you know how it's gonna end, right? Like their guide to not dating, obviously they're gonna probably get together, but it's just like, it really towed the line of her being annoying, because she made being quirky her entire personality. But I feel like the way they did it and the way they balanced her with Josh and the way that they had her relate to other characters in the book and in her past. I think that made it work, and I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was super cute and highly recommend Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. Then I read 9 Perfect Strangers, and I know this is a show on Hulu, and I haven't watched the show yet, and I don't know if I want to. I had no idea what the book was about when I got it. I don't know how it ended up on my TBR, but it's kind of like a cult, or maybe it's supposed to be like a commentary on the health industry or the fitness industry. It's very bizarre. So the main character, I would say, in the book, although each character really does get their own chapters, is Frances, and she is a older romance author, and she's kind of past her prime, and she's struggling with, you know, being an older woman and her career failing and all of this. And she was just recently scammed in like an online romance scheme. She decides to go to this retreat, and it's like a 10-day retreat that people have told her is life-changing, and she's really skeptical about it because it's like not supposed to be a weight loss retreat, but they're also not allowed to like drink or have any snacks, and she's just kind of like this lost older woman. And she meets the other people. There's a lot of characters, okay? So they all go to this retreat, and it's basically, the book is following them through this retreat. But the retreat owner is kind of like, I have been to the final stage of enlightenment, and I can make your life completely better and changed by the end of these 10 days. I know you don't believe me right now, but follow my exact schedule, do this, exactly when I say it, and you will feel great at the end of 10 days. So they all decide to stick around. The first like 3 days, I think they're not allowed to speak, and you're seeing all the characters interact with each other, but you're also getting the background of the people that work there and how they ended up in this retreat. And it's dark. Like, let me just say that it's not like an eat, pray, love thing. It's dark. People are doing things for the wrong reasons. They all have really shady pasts. They're all keeping secrets from each other. They're all trying to manipulate each other. Like, there is this one part where you genuinely think people are dying or dead or going to die. I only gave it a 3 out of 5. Like, I don't think I would recommend it to anyone, and I don't feel like I want to watch the show. And to me, that's kind of an indication that a book wasn't that good if I don't want to immediately watch the show afterwards. Then I read Layla, and I was excited to read this purely because it was called Layla and my name is Kayla, and that was about it. Layla is by Colleen Hoover, and this will make it obvious. The book starts off with Layla's boyfriend talking to this guy in his kitchen, and you don't know who this guy is, what they're trying to solve together, but her boyfriend has Layla tied up in the bedroom, and she is screaming, and her wrists are all cut up, and she's trying to get out. And he's basically like, I had to do this, and I hope that one day she'll understand. That's where we begin. The book is about Leeds and Layla. They meet at a wedding, and they have this whirlwind romance, and then something really tragic happens, and it kind of changes their relationship forever. So to help their relationship, Leeds decides to bring Layla back to the place they met to try and rekindle their romance and make things go well again. And when they are there, Layla starts behaving really, really, really strangely. And then Leeds figures out what's happening to her, and I don't know if it is a spoiler. Let me read what they write as the book description, and then I'll see if it's a spoiler or not. Okay. Good thing I read that. So basically, where they met was a bed and breakfast. And so when they get there, there's this other character who's at the bed and breakfast, and her name is Willow. And Leeds really feels this pull to get to know her, and it starts to take a toll on his relationship with Layla. but it is not what you think. And I will say that I have seen this trope in another very popular book from 2022, and I hated it in that book. I felt like it was such a cop-out and it was so lame, and you can probably figure it out if you look in my previous videos from like September, I think. This one, I bought it. I was on board. I thought they did it well. I was on board. I thought they did it well. The ending wrapped up a little too quickly to be believable, but for the most part, I was a fan of the book. I gave it 4 out of 5. It was definitely an entertaining read. I could not put it down. I needed to know what was going to happen. Then after that, I read a Kindle Unlimited book, Quarry Girls, and this one was just so freaking depressing. Did the cover pull me in? Did the name pull me in? I don't even think I read the description. To be honest, I'm confused if this is a work of fiction. So, it says it's based on a true story that took place in the 1970s. Yeah, so I think in the beginning of the book, the prologue, it does tell you what cases the book is based on, but for me, when I read that, I was kind of confused. It's about this girl, and she's from this town in the Midwest, and her dad is the district attorney, and you're like following her and her friends. They're all teenagers. They're getting involved with boys. There's this conflict about like wanting to stay young and play games with your friends, and also wanting to look older and have boys like you. There's also a girl that had just gone missing from their town, so everyone's on edge. But the creepy thing about this is that the entire town was built around this factory, and the factory had tunnels underground to connect all the people who worked at the factory to the factory, so even in the harsh winters they could get to work. So every house in this town is connected by underground tunnels. So a lot of the book and a lot of the storyline is based around these kids, playing in these tunnels, causing havoc in the tunnels. And the tunnels are scary. So it definitely has like a little thriller element to it. Definitely parts of it were creepy. It's not only about like a serial killer, but there's also a lot of other side stories where there's like sexual assault, there's like taking advantage of children, adult men taking advantage of children. It's just kind of gross. I will say I did not know who the killer was. I was suspicious of everybody. It's sad, like people are going missing left and right. There was a lot going on, and at times it felt hard to follow because there were so many characters doing bad things. But I won't say it was a waste of time. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I don't think I would recommend it to anyone unless they were really into true crime. Then it might be just like a interesting read for them. But it was just okay. And the last book I read is a very, very popular one right now, Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and I loved it. I seriously loved it. You'll see, it was one of my top books of the year. There's a reason this book is so popular right now. So Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. It is a time travel book. Basically, the main character introduced to her on the night that this tragic event happens. Basically, she sees her teenage son kill someone. Not a spoiler, it happens right in the beginning. She has no idea who the guy is that he killed. She has no idea why. She's shocked. Like, this is my son. Yes, he's 18, but this is like my baby. What the hell happened? She wakes up the next day after her son has been, booked into jail, and it's the same day over. And you're like, wait, is this a Groundhog Day kind of thing? She's just going to live this day over and over again and try to stop the murder? No, not that simple. Every day she wakes up, she's further back in time. And she slowly realizes through telling certain people that she's time traveling, but of course they don't remember the next day. And like piecing different events together, she's getting to see things that she didn't get to see the first time around. She slowly starts to piece together what happened, why her son killed this guy, if she can stop it, like who are the bad people in this story. And I was shocked by the plot twist, did not see it coming at all, was really sad about it, but it just kept going. It was a really long book, but it was done so well. And you would think, like, I've read a lot of books about time travel recently. I think this year I read like 4 or 5 I read like 5 or 6 books about time travel. And honestly, none of them really bothered me this much, but I felt none of them really bothered me. But this one, I felt like it was so well done because it's not a simple formula. And then you think you figure it out and she goes back in time again and you're completely wrong. It was just so good. And then there's this other element of her being like, you know, I was not there the first time around. This is my fault. I was not a good mother. I did not raise my son the way I needed to. And that's why he commits this crime. And me, like, I have a son. And so I often have those feelings like, what am I doing? Am I messing him up? Am I going to turn him into this horrible person because I'm not a good enough mother? Like, I have those fears on a daily basis. And so to read it in a book and then to see kind of like why it all happened and how it all worked out, it was just so, I don't know, I really connected with it as a mom. So I loved that book. 5 out of 5 for sure. And that's it. Those are the 6 books that I read in December. And you guys can kind of see in November I had all my Christmas decor up, and today I took down all my ornaments, and you're actually sitting on boxes of my decor. It is time to wrap up the holidays. I'm very excited about this year. Come back to watch my best books of 2022, my worst books of 2022, and my 2023 TBR, because I plan on posting all of those within the next week and a half. I am so excited for 2023. I definitely want to keep doing my fitness content. Like, that's such a big goal of mine to continue to get healthy in 2023. But let's be honest, reading is like my love. Yesterday, I went to the library for the first time in like a month and a half, and I felt things, truly. I loved the library. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to come back and hear more of my opinions about books, I would absolutely love to have you. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you very, very, very soon, sooner than you're expecting, for the next video. Bye, guys.